What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Off the Top podcast. My name is Tom.
Colin, so
Make sure you press subscribe. Very special episode today. We're doing something that we haven't done before. We've talked about it on the show, maybe, but we have not done it. We listened to the full Kendrick Lamar discography. We're going to talk about every album that he's ever released, including Untitled, Unmastered. We're going to put it on a tier list, rank them all, give our thoughts, our favorite tracks from each one. So, let us know whose discography you want us to listen to next. We're going to make this a thing we do. We're thinking maybe a Not Future member for the next one. Little teaser. But we're doing Kendrick today. We got a couple other things to talk about. We got a new Eminem single, new Roddy Ricch single, new Polo G single, and a new Logic single to talk about. Then we have some people mad about the Eminem song online
Of
that we'll
course,
go
yeah.
over. Yeah, but the main event today is the Kendrick Lamar discography tier list. We're going
Yep.
over all of them. So
We're not
stay tuned.
putting we're
Subscribe.
not putting any albums on our tier list for albums of the year this
No.
week. Next week we'll do Hit Boy and the Alchemist and Big Hit, Black and White, with a few other things that are probably coming along. So stay
It,
tuned.
it kind of worked out that there was no big albums this week and we were doing the Kendrick tier list, so
Yeah,
it
yeah.
worked out. But
We were
I
busy,
guess
so
we can talk about some of these singles that dropped. We got 4 new singles, like I just said, we're gonna talk about today. I mean,
yeah.
let's start with Polo G.
Okay. I
I
mean,
I just picked one.
yeah, it was all right. Him and Roddy Ricch both released today, and I kind of have the same gripe with both of them. I don't know. They're two artists that kind of get lost in a similar sound. You know what I mean? And I wish they would kind of switch it up a little bit, but I'm not hating at all. I think they're good songs. The Polo G one, "Angels in the Sky," I thought was good. I'm excited for new Polo G music. I'm here for it, so I thought it was solid.
Yeah, it is like one of those. He's definitely like one of those artists where a lot of the songs sound the same. People call him Piano G. Like he just is always rapping on those piano beats. But that's not what this was. It wasn't a piano beat, at least. It was
Yeah,
kind of a
yeah,
different vibe. But
yeah. I mean, that's not fair. I think he has a decent versatility. You know what I'm saying? Like better than some rappers out there for sure. And I'm a fan of his music. Like I said, I'm excited for new shit to drop. So it
I
just
like
wasn't
Polo
anything
G.
crazy. That's all.
I like Polo G personally. He might have been my most listened to artist like in 2021 or something. Like I
Yeah,
definitely dig his stuff. So
like in his prime, right?
this new album that he's dropping is called Hood Poet. That's the album that he's promoting. This is the third single from Hood Poet, if I'm remembering correctly. But
Yeah, it was supposed. I think it's supposed to drop this year. I know he's had some personal issues going on with it. Whatever's going on, but I
that's what I'm
hope it still
saying.
drops.
I feel like they've been promoting this album for so long. Like I've had it
Yeah, I
pre-saved
mean,
on Apple for months.
the Feds have been fucking with him and shit. So
Well, Angels in the Sky, you want to give it like a rating out of 10? What do you think? Angels in the Sky, Polo G, third single off Hood Poet.
like seven,
I meant like a
six point
six and a
seven.
half.
Yeah,
Okay, it's not
pretty
bad though.
solid. No,
I'm looking
I.
forward to listening to the Polo album.
That's what I'm saying. I am excited for new Polo G music
All right,
and
right. Oh,
this next guy.
is that what you were gonna say? Okay.
Yep.
The next track we got Roddy Ricch, Survivor's Remorse. He's also teasing a new album. Do you happen to know the name of the album? Because I actually don't.
I don't
You don't have
know.
to.
I'll look
Well,
it up.
I believe this is the first single off the new Roddy Ricch project that he just announced recently on his Instagram. Survivor's Remorse. So the thing is, like Roddy Ricch, his last 2 projects have like really flopped. Like you didn't hear about them, they didn't chart. No one's talking about Roddy Ricch, but his
The
first two
Navy
projects,
album. Sorry to interrupt.
the Navy album, yeah. But
Yeah.
Roddy Ricch's first 2 projects, Feed the Streets 1 and 2, were like classics. Like
Generational.
they're literally full of bangers. So like I need a good Roddy Ricch album. And I didn't
Yeah.
not like Survivor's Remorse. I'm just hoping for a little more like upbeat, energized stuff on the album, but it wasn't bad. Like
Yeah.
he's
And that was the thing with a lot of these guys, even with Polo G, Roddy Ricch, even a Lil Baby, they come out of the gate and they come out fast. They come out hot. You know what I'm saying? Lil Baby even dropping something like It's Only Me. Or not It's Only Me, fucking
My Turn.
My Turn. Sorry. Yeah. It's Only Me is his last one, but yeah, dropping something like My Turn and then slowing down to like It's Only Me. They come out of the gate hot and sometimes, their sound gets repetitive, whatever, but These are people that I'm looking forward to new music from. I see the potential in them for surely. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm excited for them. These are all artists that I love, and Roddy Ricch is another one that I'm excited for new music from. This is his first drop in like a few years. So, and like you said, Feed the Streets, classic, straight
Classic. I
classic.
mean, I re-listened to Feed the Streets one today because it has like I might Blue Street quality, fuck
Yeah,
it up like bangers on there.
yeah,
So
classic.
so Roddy Ricch, Survivor's Remorse. What do you give this out of 10? I'm probably like a 7. Similar to the Polo G. I think I liked it a little more, but not much more.
I'm gonna say a little less. I liked it, so probably 6.7, 6.5.
Okay.
If I gave the Polo G1 a 7.
So we're right around the same
Yeah,
wavelength
nothing
with both
crazy.
of them.
Nothing crazy.
All right. Single number 4 from today. It's the new Logic
3.
track. Yep. Logic Deja Vu, produced by DJ Drama. This one, I'm assuming he has an album coming up too. I didn't. I thought Logic like retired, and then he came back, and then he retired again. He refuses to die, like
Right.
culturally. But Logic's still kicking. Deja Vu. I like actually really like this song, but I'm also like a
Yeah.
Logic fan. Like his last album, I listened to and I really liked. Like when Logic drops, I normally listen to it, but on Deja Vu, like he is spinning. There's like two
Yeah.
really good, fast paced, like energized, a lot of like
And
he's going crazy on them.
yeah, and I don't know if you want to call it a throwback, an interpolation, or whatever, but it's a throwback to one of his old songs, "Fade Away." I
Hmm.
don't know if if you're familiar or whatever, but him and Eminem did the same thing on both their songs.
Yeah,
Recalling all their songs. So I thought it was interesting. We got two of the similar tracks on the same day, and yeah, Logic is spitting on here. Produced by DJ Drama,
and
came correct.
he name dropped Eminem on the track. I think
Hmm.
he said like, "Who else you know go toe to toe with Eminem?
Yeah,
Homicide might do it
yeah.
again."
He
So
shouted
maybe
out his elders on there. His the OGs on there. He gave a shout out to Rakim, Eminem, a few others on there. So
you
it was
think
fire.
Eminem
I fucked with it.
You think Eminem's on the Logic project? Is that a tease at that? Homicide might have to do it again. Homicide Part Two,
Yeah, maybe,
or
or
he's on the
vice
M album.
versa. Yeah, vice versa, maybe.
Because
I wouldn't mind that.
there was that little picture that was leaked of the Eminem features list. Was he on
Yeah, I
there?
don't know. I don't know, and I don't know the validity of that list either. So
Yeah, but okay. Well, Logic, Deja Vu. I really like this. I'd probably give this like an 8.
yeah, yeah, this probably be like an 8.3, 8.5. It's a
I
really
could
great
go.
track.
I could go over 8. It's good.
Yeah,
There is like a minute at the end where they kind of just like let the instrumental play and fade off and just kind of like you could have cut it a little shorter. The whole last minute is kind of
yeah.
unneeded.
Sure. It's just for DJ Drama to do his thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, but the two verses from Logic on Deja Vu are good.
spitting. Oh
Yeah,
hell yeah, bro!
better
And
than I
that's the thing
expected.
about Logic. Like I don't know, people hate on him, whatever, but he's gonna come correct almost every time on a verse. So
That's the one thing I don't really understand is why do people hate on Logic? Is it literally cuz he's mixed? Cuz I mean Logic's had some like
I don't know.
corny, cheesy pop-ish songs like or whatever, but
Yeah,
all of
he's
his
had some like
albums he like does all the production, he's sampling, he like cares about the music, he
yeah.
spits, actually raps, like he puts out quality albums.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that he's musically gifted. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, he produces his shit, he spits on. He's a great rapper. I think the
He's
knock on
like
him for a lot of people is just the lyrical content. A lot of people might not relate with, or they find it corny or whatever. But you know, some shit's not for everybody, so it is what it is.
cuz
But I
he's
know
like
he's got albums that are a lot deeper and that helped people through a lot of like darker times and shit. So
cuz
that shit's not for everybody.
he's one of those guys that's like in the crates of records like looking for shit to sample and make music out of. Like he's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
making music.
Yeah,
So,
and like I said, even on this track on Deja Vu, he's giving respect to the OGs and shit. So that's always been him.
all right. So we're feeling good about Deja Vu then.
Yeah, I fuck with it heavily.
And now the one that everyone was waiting for. Eminem's
Right.
been teasing it for like a week or two on his Instagram. We talked about it last week. Houdini by
Yep.
Eminem, the first single off the Death of Slim Shady. We got it this morning with a music video. Shout out Eminem, keeping music videos alive. But actually, Roddy Ricch and Polo G both put out videos for theirs too. But Eminem's like a
Yeah.
music video goat.
I mean, he probably has the best music videos maybe of any artist ever.
In
Like, let's
rap,
be
for sure.
realistic. Let's be realistic. Like, come on now. He's been doing it since the day YouTube came out. So
Like,
he's really on
literally.
that shit. And before YouTube, MTV. You know what I'm saying? So
I think if I had to
Really,
go back and like, what's the most memorable Eminem music video? It's
Stan,
Without Me. Oh,
Stan for me, Stan for me. It's
Without Me
just,
though is
but
so crazy.
The Stan dude. That's the thing though. He has so many. You can go to a Superman. You
The
can go
Way
to a
I Am,
Stan. You can go to a Way I Am. You can go to
My
a
Band,
my band even. Yeah,
Shake
fucking.
That, or like, or what's that called? Shake.
There's a bunch.
Yeah,
There's a bunch, but
Ass Like That is the one I'm thinking of.
there's he's got so many, and he does it great every time. Even like I forgot about Dre. You know what I'm saying? Something that's not even on his own album. He'll come
Yeah,
out and fucking do a
I
crazy
love
video
that
for it.
video,
So
bro. But
the
yeah, we got.
video is a 10 out of 10. It was a great. It was a great track. But go ahead.
I was just gonna say we got Houdini by Eminem today, the first single, like I said. Would you? So I guess before we talk about the music itself, like in the music video, he had some interesting cameos, like Pete Davidson's in there,
Yeah,
Shane Gillis
Shane
is in
Gillis.
there,
Yeah,
Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Eminem's kids are all
Rip.
in there.
Yeah.
Pete Rosenberg, of course, is in there.
Yep.
So like, it really was like he was recreating the Without Me video though, and like modernizing it, and like
Yeah,
a
he
lot of
really
the
did.
lyrics are playing off the Without Me
I
lyrics.
wish
Like
we
it's just
could.
a, I know.
Yeah, I wish
I
we
wish
could
we could
watch it
watch it.
on here, but we'll probably get ultra
Yeah.
cocked for it. So go watch it on your own time. Obviously, shout out to the GOAT. But yeah, like you said, big throwback to "Without Me."
Yeah.
Starts the song saying, "Guess who's back? Shady's back." You know what I'm saying? And he comes out and Shady's really back. He spits like Slim Shady on the whole song. The flow, the delivery, the sound really sounds like some 2000 Slim Shady shit. So I fuck with it heavily. The it's goofy. It's lighthearted, goofy. He's trolling Meg The Stallion, saying that if he asks for a feature, would he have a shot at her feet? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You could take that as a triple entendre. Little goofy triple entendre right there. You know what I'm saying? So there's there's signs of old M in here, and I like that he's not taking it too seriously. And I hope that this is a lead up to an album that is a bit more serious, though, because even on something like an Eminem show, regarded as one of the best rap albums of all time, you have a Without Me. You know what I'm saying? Where he's being goofy, lighthearted, where it's almost like it's almost identical to this song. You know what I'm saying? So even though this song's lighthearted, goofy, and he's trolling and whatever, that don't mean the whole album's gonna be that. So I'm kind of hyped up for some more serious M. You know what I'm saying? So and
We
I but
haven't
I like that he brought back the old sound and the old flow a
we
lot.
have not gotten an official release date on the death of
Mm-mm.
Slim Shady as of today, even though we got the first single. But yeah, I mean, he was rapping, he's saying the funny shit, talking shit about Megan the Stallion and transgenders and like cancel culture. Like
Yep, yep.
he's he's
He says,
saying the
"What would the
shit.
old me think of the world now?" You know what I'm saying? And that's a good point. You know what
He'd
I'm saying?
say
Because what,
he would think it was
bro?
gay is the
Yeah,
punchline.
that's what he said. Yeah. So I mean, it's funny. On it's lighthearted. He says, "Fuck his own kids."
Yeah.
Well,
And
yeah,
they're in the video.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
they're in on it.
It's a super lighthearted video. You know what I'm saying? Song. I fuck with it. It's him having fun, doing his thing.
Yeah.
If I had a couple knocks on it, the hook is kind of annoying for somebody that grew up in the 2000s. I'm not really familiar with uh, Steve Miller Band, I believe it is.
That's my
Um,
main gripe too, is the chorus though. Yeah.
yeah, but that's what M does. He interpolates them old um, rock. Is it a rock song? I don't even know. Probably, but
Yeah.
um,
Rock adjacent.
so yeah, I thought it was good. And but wait, I guess it is rock. I don't. I know
It's
the
rock
song.
adjacent at
I know
least.
the song to be clear. I don't know what genre I guess it would be.
I would assume
But
classic rock maybe.
yeah, yeah. But I thought it was good. But like I said, nothing too serious. I'll give it like a 7.7.
I might be a little higher than you. I'm at like an 8-1.
Yeah, because look, I like it a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking him, but there's room for some more serious shit
But
and some
that's why
improvement
this
for
is the
sure.
first single though. You know,
And
like
bro, M is the GOAT. Like I'm saying, there's room for improvement. Like he hasn't made the best rap music of like all time. So like, come on now.
what what are your expectations for the death of Slim Shady? Like in your mind right now, if
High,
you could look into the future, what do we give this album out of 10 after our first or
dude.
second listen?
After this single, it's very high because, like I said, like the thing I'm most excited for is the old sound and the old flow. You know what I'm
And
saying? The
that
lyrical
flow, man.
content, you can keep about whatever, just trolling shit. I want to hear you get into some more serious stuff about your experiences throughout your whole career, this, that, or the other thing. And I think he will bring some of that in this new album. So that's what I'm excited for. And I don't know. This single makes me excited for it. So I don't know. What will I rate that album? That's hard to say. I don't
Yeah,
know.
what do you think you'll rate it?
10, hopefully. I'll just say that. Hopefully a
I mean,
10.
I sure hope so.
Hopefully a 10.
I
But
mean, yeah,
this
people.
single,
It's not
give it
like
a
his
high 7.
last two albums weren't good though. It's just the one
No.
bad one that people
Yeah,
won't
I
let go
mean,
of.
yeah, Kamikaze's great. Let's
So
get
good.
that straight. It's great.
The
Music
Ringer.
to Be Murdered By is great. It's great. I mean, the people hate on it. There's some iffy songs on there, but it's super long track list. It might not be super refined. It's not a perfect album by any means, but Revival is the one that sticks out to me as being the sore thumb. But look, music is subjective, and not everything's for everybody. And he's been in the game for 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Fucking,
Basically.
you can't expect this dude to make a perfect album every time. You look at anybody's discography, they're gonna have bad albums. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't
And I
know.
feel like,
Not everyone. Not the person
yeah,
we're going
I
through
guess
today.
that's kind of true. Actually, that's a good point.
If
But
it
a lot
wasn't
of
for what
people,
we were doing today, I
but
wouldn't
if
have
you look
taken
at,
that. But
but you could argue that Kendrick hasn't even had enough time to drop a bad album like Eminem. You know what I'm saying? So, because
yeah,
Eminem didn't drop a super bad album like Revival till, I won't say super bad, but in my opinion, a bad album like Revival until what? That
I
was
was gonna
what,
say how many?
2015. That
What
was
album was
like
that of his though?
like
Because we have
20
seven.
years into his career. You know what I'm
Yeah, but
saying?
we
Like,
have seven Kendrick albums to
I
go
mean,
over today.
okay, so what?
Are
We have
any
the
of them as bad as Revival? No,
no hell. No, come on, stop.
they're not.
No, of course not. And M's my goat. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
M's
not
my go.
hating.
You're
You know what I'm saying?
preaching to the choir.
But even if you look like a Kanye West, Kanye has bad albums. You're
Yeah,
not gonna sit here and tell me Kanye don't have bad. Drake has bad albums. You know what I'm saying? We talk about goats. Goats
Drake's
have bad
known for
albums.
bad albums.
Well, Drake's known for bad albums. You know what I'm saying? But
That's the
I
thing.
mean,
Drake puts out a crazy shitty album, but there's like 4 or 5 songs that are just hits. So it's
yeah.
like, take the good with the bad.
I mean, sure. Drake's a kind of a different conversation, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
Well, there you go. Houdini, Eminem, more Eminem coming soon. I don't know how many singles they'll do. I assume maybe 1 or 2 more before we get the album. So we'll be here
Yeah,
talking about it.
I don't know. I don't really love singles usually, but I like that
Me
Eminem
neither.
is kind of actually promoting his shit this time. I seen people hating on the cover too. I thought the cover was fire. I don't know.
I think it's fine.
Fine. I thought it was
The
fire.
I'm not in love with it, but I don't. It's not trash or anything. Like it's cool.
Okay, fair
I just
enough.
don't like
I've
the.
seen a lot of
I don't
people
love the
hating on it. Fair
style
enough.
of it.
Let me just say this: the blind Eminem hate on the internet is crazy to me. I
It's
just
it's
and the hate
Gen
on
Z
this song,
fucks, man.
the hate on this song specifically will be from people that like haven't listened to Eminem their whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
That's the
Because
thing.
that shit sounded like classic M, bro. As a person that's listened to M since I was out the womb. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna get into right now. I have this link that I want to pull up. So there are some people that are actually offended by the Eminem song Houdini,
Of
and
course.
it has to do with one bar in particular. You mentioned it already. The bar was, if I ask Megan Stallion for a collab, do I really have a shot at a feat or something like that? Or
Yeah.
referencing her getting shot in the foot by Tory Lanez and he was
Yeah.
sentenced to 10 years in prison. But
Right.
Megan the Stallion stands are like actually upset at Eminem for this. Like
Okay.
this
It's
bar
not
of
even
all
a
bars, have you
dig. It's
not
just
ever listened to an Eminem song in your life? He
right.
says the
Right.
craziest shit. You're mad about
Right.
this?
I mean, that wasn't even. There was people that he dissed in the song. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't even a diss. And in the same song, he says, "Fuck my kids, bro. What do you want? What do you want from the dude? How more clear can you be that I'm not being serious and
And
I'm dissing my own kids, bro? Like,
the
come on, like, stop it. Like, just
But the Megan the
it's
Stallion
annoying.
fans aren't. I don't think they think it's a diss. Their claims, okay? These are the Megan the Stallion's fans' claims. Eminem is name dropping Megan the Stallion for clout to promote
Yeah.
his album.
Look, shout out Megan the Stallion. I like Megan the Stallion. She's
Bro,
dope.
Eminem's the biggest selling artist of all time.
Look, it
What are you
is what it
talking
is.
about?
Bro. I don't know. Stands will be stands, bro. You know. I ain't gonna hate on it. I
Eminem
ain't
is
gonna hate
using
on it.
Megan the Stallion for clout. That's what you're telling
No,
me.
of
He
course
sold
not.
millions of copies, physical copies, in first weeks before. No one's done what
Bro.
Eminem's done. He doesn't need Megan
It's a
the
funny
Stallion.
line about some pop culture shit, bro. Come on. And it's a
Yeah,
triple entendre. I mean, you could look at, the feature, the obvious one, the one that's blatant, the feet, that she got shot in the feet. And I look at it like you got a shot at her feet, like in a, like a foot fetish way. Like, yeah, like not like jerking on her feet. Like,
That's what I thought you meant, bro.
That's not what I meant. But like
Okay.
a shot to look at him or something. Like I don't know. I could. There's like
Okay.
a weird triple. It's Eminem, bro. You gotta think of it. There's a weird
That's why
triple
I thought
entendre in
jizzing
there.
on feet because it's Eminem.
Right, right,
We're talking about the guy that made FAC,
Nah,
remember?
right. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Good flow, good bars. Let's move on.
Well, I have a couple of the tweets here from Megan fans.
Right.
So we got this one first. Here's the Megan. Here's one tweet. I don't even like Megan anymore, but Eminem is so hateful and weird to women, always throwing shots at females, but I've never seen him go toe to toe with a man. Weird ass.
She has a good point. MGK is definitely not a man, so like that's actually a
Cannabis.
good point.
Mariah Carey,
I know. I
a
was
woman. Nick Cannon, kind of a
Right.
man.
Right. Will
And then
Smith, debatable.
here's more. Unprovoked and unnecessary. This is so random and disgusting.
I thought that was actually Cardi B for a minute, like
That
for
would
a
be
split
amazing.
second.
And then the bottom one, why do rappers always have the audacity to use Megan's situation as a bar when it has nothing to do with them?
It's not that serious.
Yeah, like,
It's a joke.
you got shot in the foot. That's hilarious.
It's not even like that. It was just a funny anecdote that you could turn into a funny line. Like, come on now.
I mean, yeah,
You're trolling.
it's funny, though. Like, you got shot in the foot. People are going to talk
I
about
mean,
that.
Yeah, bro, we talked about it. She's what, 6'4"? Tory Lanez is like 5'4".
Yeah.
Bro, of course he's gonna shoot her. She's about to step on him.
Yeah.
I've made this joke 10 times on this show now, bro. Come on.
Yeah, he's like shooting from underneath,
There's nowhere to be said, you know what I'm saying? Of course it's funny. Stop.
Houdini, certified gas pack.
Gas pack. Stop it.
All right. Do you want to get into this Kendrick Lamar discography tier list?
Of course.
We got 7 projects.
Of course I do.
We did Overly Dedicated, Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, Untitled, Unmastered, Damn, Mr. Morale, and The Big Steppers. We took notes on them all. We got our favorite tracks from each one. We're going to put them on a tier list, and we're going to determine which Kendrick album's the best and which one is the worst and everything in between.
Let's just say this is our first time doing this. Cut us some slack, all right? My notes are like all over the place. But I tried, bro. You know what I'm saying? I tried to really break these down best I could at the time I had. And let me just say this. Kendrick entered my top 5 rappers of all time after listening to his discography. And after the whole situation. Yeah.
I have my Mount Rushmore, and Kendrick is 5.
I'm telling you, bro.
That's where I'm at. I have
Sometimes
my 4.
you just got to dive in, right? Like,
he's my 5.
That's it. That's the thing about Kendrick's music. Not all of it is super accessible. You know what I'm saying? Not super easy to listen to. You know, it's just like a T-Pab's not super easy to listen to for somebody a casual. You know what I'm saying? But once you listen to it and appreciate it for what it is, then you look at it differently and you can actually appreciate it.
How crazy would it be for me to kick Lil Wayne off my Mount Rushmore and put Kendrick there instead? Because that's where I'm at. Because Lil Wayne is my 4 and Kendrick is my 5. And discography-wise, I could put Kendrick above Lil Wayne.
So you got
Eminem,
Kanye,
Drake, Lil Wayne, Kendrick.
Drake. Nah, I would kick Drake.
That's not
personally. Drake over Lil Wayne? Stop it. I mean, without Lil Wayne, there's no Drake.
I don't really tend to put them in an order. Those are just my 4 in any order.
But if you're kicking one, it has to be
If I have to
Drake.
kick one, I think it's Wayne for me personally.
Dog. But without Wayne, there's no Drake.
I know. Without Drake, there's no Kendrick, you could say.
I guess maybe arguable. I guess maybe.
I know that's blasphemy, but hey, I'll say
maybe.
All right, well, let's get into it. One thing I want to mention, I seem to take more notes as I went on. Like the first 2, I don't have a ton of notes, but like by the time I'm listening to Good Kid, Mad City, and T-Pab, I just have so many notes. I'm like,
well, I think that's a sign of Kendrick's evolution as an artist. You know what I'm saying? His first few albums, like Overly Dedicated, Section 80, while they're still super like great rapping, great storytelling, you get really deep shit, you get some more hype shit, some more radio friendly shit. They don't quite stack up to a GKMC or a T-Pab in terms of like concept levels or even rap, skill.
All right, well, let's get into it. Overly Dedicated, the first project from Kendrick Lamar, 2010. This was 14 years ago. You go first. Overly
Well,
dedicated Kendrick Lamar.
right off the bat, Kenny comes out the gate with the introspective, conscious lyrics, if you want to call it conscious. I don't really like using that word, but people like to use it, so I'll call it that for now. Right out the gate, he comes out talking about his surroundings, his life. Um, he's got great flows right out the gate. His voice inflection on his raps, instantly, you're like, okay, who is this that I'm listening to? Every time now that you hear Kendrick from now on, you're gonna know who it is because his voice is like none other. And here, it's the first um, show
First
of that.
taste. Yeah.
Yeah, first show of that for Kendrick. You got introspective, sentimental songs like "Growing Apart," "Average Joe." You got braggadocious songs like a Michael Jordan. You got some vibing songs you just want to vibe like a P&P. There's a great mix of
HOC.
lyrical content. And there's yeah, HOC exactly, another good vibing song. Good mix of lyrical content and some good storytelling. Especially for Kendrick in his younger days, I thought it was really super impressive. Obviously, for a younger person to be able to write this well.
Quick question.
Um,
Did you
yeah,
listen to the Heart Part 2 along with this because it's not on streaming?
I think I didn't listen to him like chronologically. I've listened to all the hearts previously before this. Um, but
Because the
yeah,
Heart Part 2 was part of this, but it's not on
right.
streaming due to copyright samples and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, got you. But no, I thought it was in terms of like the production, it was decent, good production.
It's
As
what you would
Kendrick goes
expect.
on, yeah, but as Kendrick goes on, he ends up having one of the best production levels as a rapper um, that I've seen, throughout his career. So, um, and like I said, his first showing is of his voice inflection, his impact of his voice on the song. So, I thought it was interesting and a great start. You know what I'm saying, for Kendrick's career.
Yeah, a couple of the notes that I had, like you mentioned, complex, introspective lyrics, social issues, diving deep, like boom, right off the bat, 15 years ago, his first project. He's doing all that shit. Like, it's not a new thing. And,
Yeah,
like, you mentioned that, like, you saw the storytelling potential and just, like, the lyrical potential of Kendrick,
yeah,
like, in this album. Like, you could have
yep.
predicted what was to come. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Yep.
using hindsight, you're like, yeah, this all makes sense. Like, even his first project was, like, groundbreaking lyrically and storytelling wise, but
Yeah, I won't say groundbreaking because it wasn't
maybe not.
anything like that crazy, but you've seen the potential there. And like I said, it's super impressive for a young dude to come out and be able to drop something like this.
Yeah.
And like just the way the shit that he's saying too. You know what I'm saying? That's the really important part. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody, but a lot of people can rap and people can make flows sound good and this, that, the other thing. But Kendrick comes out the gate with the introspective, deep, thoughtful lyrics, makes it sound good, and it's unique with his voice. So that's overly dedicated for you.
Give me two or three of your favorite tracks and a rating out of 10 before I pull up the tier list.
I would say Michael Jordan definitely up there. P&P is up there. HOC is probably up there for my three favorites.
Okay, I
I'm sure
got.
there's some other good ones. I didn't have my favorites written down,
Okay,
but yeah, those are just off the top.
out of
And
10.
then out of 10, I'd probably give it. I'd say like a 7.7. This one I
Okay.
didn't write down a rating for, but I would say a 7.7.
Well, I think my top three are the Heart Part 2, even though it's not on streaming, Ignorance is Bliss, and HOC. I have
Yeah,
this at a.
Ignorance is Bliss is great too. Yeah,
I have this at 7.75 out of 10. So
there we go. So we're kind of right
almost the
on.
same as you.
Wow, that's kind of wild actually. All right.
So let's get the tier list up here. Throw our first project on there, Overly Dedicated, 2010. I'm feeling B.
All right, so we need to set a precedent here. Are we ranking these as Kendrick albums or as rap albums? You know what I'm saying? Because it is kind of different, right?
Kind of, but I mean, both. Take the average.
I think I would say B too, but like as we get a little further into this list, it's going to get harder. So I just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, I mean, if we need clarification as we go, we can. But I think this belongs in B. Just
Yeah, you could argue A, but I think B.
okay. We have a lot of high expectations to live up to here.
Oh,
This
for
is
sure, dude.
Kendrick Lamar. We
This,
gotta.
yeah, I know.
So next we have Section 80. Kendrick Lamar. Wait, I gotta get the year on this. Section 80, 2011. This came a year after Overly Dedicated. I guess I can go first on this one. We'll kind of
Sure.
just go back and forth. So, Section 80, you get more storytelling, more great lyrical, like intricate, deep, introspective shit. Like that doesn't stop here. I feel like you see actually more of a focus on social issues on this, maybe than an overly dedicated. He kind of starts diving into like the actual social
Yeah.
issues,
I mean, you
and I,
get super deep songs, something like a Keisha song, for example,
yeah,
about, listen to the song.
and then you also start to get, I think, on this project, like a lot of the soulful and jazz influenced
Yes. Heavy.
production that we see a lot throughout Kendrick's whole discography. It really starts
Yep.
here,
Yep.
and like I thought that was interesting that it started this early and like kept up all the way to like Mr. Morale. And there's a couple tracks on Section 80 that I think had a little more mainstream appeal than the tracks on Overly Dedicated. Like you could tell there
Definitely.
was a couple more songs that like could have become popular on the radio.
Like a
And
whole up.
yeah, exactly.
ADHD.
Those are two of my top three favorite songs, Hold Up and
Yep.
ADHD. And the only problem I have with Section 80 was there was like two or three songs that I really didn't like.
Which
Like
ones?
I didn't write them down.
Oh,
But
okay.
there was just some
Well,
songs. I
okay.
don't think on
Well,
overly
bring the
dedicated.
receipts next time. If you're gonna say you don't like the songs, tell me which ones.
On overly dedicated, I don't remember there being a song that I like didn't like. But on Section A, there was like just a couple songs I was like, this is whatever. I don't really care for this.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But I mean, it's still not bad. Like Section 80 is not a bad album. It's
No,
not.
not at all. I liked it a lot. I felt like there was some more things I like, more relatable lyrical content on there to me. Um, Even then, he gets more introspective and talks about the things that he's seen. He says, "I've seen so many things on fuck your ethnicity" in the beginning of the album. Like you said, it's the beginning of the heavy jazz influence of his career,
Yeah.
and his first possible mainstream moment with a hold up. I think that's like the first time we heard Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Like the very, very first time was probably like a hold up in ADHD. So,
And they're so
but
good.
great, they're great.
Hold
I
Up is
really
fire.
enjoy. Yeah, I really enjoy his flow and his delivery, and his voice inflection on this project. I thought it was great. The production takes a step up from Overly Dedicated.
Definitely.
Um, there's a lot about his relationships with women. Like I said, it's a lot of introspective shit. There's a couple misses, like you said, but I think they're No Makeup, Tammy song, not some of the hottest songs,
Yeah.
but like we, like we said, Kendrick Lamar is a person that really evolves throughout his career,
Mm-hmm.
and for there only being two misses on his second album is crazy. You know what I'm saying? He talks about coming up in the streets on something like A Poem Man's Dreams. Um, Talks about how fragile life is on the cushion. Um, yeah, and there's just great, unique production. You know what I'm saying? It's the start of like that unique Kendrick sound. So I fuck with it a lot.
Couple of your
And
favorite tracks. Oh.
well, I'll give you one of my favorite tracks. It's definitely High Power. I thought it was a great like culmination of what felt like the album. You know what I'm saying? It was a good mix of everything in the album. So I'll say that's my favorite song on there.
I
And then,
think
of course, Hold Up and Blow My High, shit like that.
Yeah, I think my top three are ADHD, Hole Up, and then Rigor Mortis is gas. I love
You
that
like
song.
it? All right, okay.
I think that might be my number three. Like I really like
Got
that
you.
song. And I guess out of 10, I'm at like I'm at like a 7.5. I like
Yeah,
this slightly less than Overly Dedicated if I'm pitting them against each other. I take Overly Dedicated over Section 80. Not by a
got you.
lot, but by a
Yeah,
little.
and like you said, Rigor Mortis, even on here, he's just straight rapping. You know what I'm saying? He's just like,
Yeah.
just straight up showing his rap skill on something like a Rigor Mortis. So I personally, I like it more than Overly Dedicated. I'd probably give this like a 8.1 or 8.2.
Okay. Well, we'll pull up the tier list here. Where do you think this goes then?
See, this is where it gets a little iffy. I would put this A because I think this, as a rap album, this is an A.
Then we'll do it as Kendrick albums.
I still think it's an A. You don't?
Then are you putting everything else S though?
See,
That's the
that's the
thing.
thing. I
Like
think Kendrick. I can argue. I think. I guess spoiler. I think he has three S albums. Do you not?
I might too, but I don't know about five.
Well, I'm not saying five. I think he has three S albums.
Because
So
I would
I
put
would. I
this.
personally
I'd
would
go
put it
B
there.
with it, but
Well, I know you like it less than Overly Dedicated, but I like it more. So I mean, we at least have to put it like,
I put it higher than Overly Dedicated, but
yeah.
on B.
But I think it's. I'll argue why I think it's A. It's the beginning of what we know as Kendrick now. The jazz, the heavy jazz inspiration, the really deep, thoughtful storytelling, like a What was the song that I had mentioned? Fucking Akeisha song. You know what I'm saying? It gets super deep, and he's flowing, and it's like the first taste of like the radio shit. It's an A, bro. I
It's
think
just
it's an A.
when I'm doing the tier list on my own and I will like look at it, like I feel like out of his 7 albums, these two are the bottom
This
of
is
the seven.
nah. Well, nah. I think I prefer personally. See, I don't know.
Because that's why I put these two at B, because I think these are the bottom two of his discography. Like I do think that
Probably, but I don't think that's. I don't even think like. See,
B's
that's the
not
thing.
bad
Like,
though. Like an 8 is a B,
no, I know it's not bad. I
and you
know it's
gave it
not
an
bad.
8, and I gave like that's a B, an 80.
Is an A a B? Okay, I think. Well, I think an A is an A, right? If there's an S, then
Nine
what's S?
S is 100 basically, and
Right. Then what's
A
A?
is like 90 to 99.
90,
B is like 80 to
80.
89.
Okay, fair enough.
You
Let's
know what I
be then.
mean? Okay, but I will put it over overly dedicated. That's our compromise.
I think it could go A. It's personally, I thought it was a great listen.
It's not bad. Like
I mean,
I'm with you.
I
Like a seven and a
I
half,
know,
8. Like it's
and I'm personally ranking these just as rap albums. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, like he's got 3 S albums. You know what I'm saying? This isn't him having great albums isn't going to stop me from putting it A. I think it should be A. We'll leave it B for the sake of the conversation. But GKMC, let's move on. You
yeah.
start.
Good
This is
kid,
where,
Good Kid, Mad City, 2012. We got
yeah,
3 years of Kendrick albums back to back. So
yeah,
Good Kid, Mad City. It was number 7 on Apple's best 100 albums of all time.
yep.
Go for it. Good Kid, Mad City.
And we talked about the evolution from overly dedicated to a Section 80 rolling into a GKMC. This is where he
This
really
is it.
rounds into his prime form, in my
Yeah,
opinion. This is his greatest album. One of the best concept albums I've ever listened to.
I
It's the
got it at
story of
number 1.
Kendrick of concept albums. Yeah, I mean,
Number 1
maybe,
concept
maybe.
album ever made, in my opinion. Good Kid, Mad City.
I mean, Ready to Die,
I got it
T-Pab.
over that. I got Good Kid, Mad City over both. I think
Okay.
it's number
Okay,
1.
fair
It's
enough.
not far ahead, but it's number
Fair
1.
enough.
In
Okay,
my
fair
book,
enough.
it's 1.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm not even gonna hate. But if you're unfamiliar, it's a story of Kendrick meeting a girl at a party. Eventually meeting her on the streets. You know, before that, he's cruising on the streets with his boys in a fucking
Van.
bitch don't kill my vibe. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for the
I,
songs that
I
he
thought you
was
meant
cruising
literally
around.
what were they in.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
he was cruising around in his mom's van. You
Yeah.
know, the cover of the album. Yes, he borrowed his mom's van to go meet up with this girl that he met at a party. Him and his girl, him and his girls, him and his homies are cruising around in his mom's van. You know, kicking shit, doing what they do, whatever.
Rolling
He ends
weed,
up
toting guns, gangster shit.
sure, whatever. As a white man, he ends up rolling up to go see Shireen and Shireen's man or whatever. People that don't want Kendrick seeing Shireen end up jumping Kendrick. Then eventually, a few days later or whatever, throughout the story, Kendrick and his homies again driving the van end up seeing the dudes that jump Kendrick. They start shooting. Shots start blasting, and in the gunfire, Kendrick's homie ends up getting hit and dies. And then you finish off the album with him talking to his parents about them giving him advice of how to move on and what to do. So it's crazy to be able to tell that story through a rap album. And this is where Kendrick really starts to make every album feel like a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
the
this
minute
is
you
the
press
start.
play to the minute it ends, it's like watching a movie. Really. And not only is he producer of a rap album at this point, he's producing a film essentially in your mind. You know what I'm saying? And not only is it conceptually one of the greatest albums of all time, just in terms of rapping skill, it's almost impeccable. You know what I'm saying? On a Money Trees, on a Poetic Justice, with a great Drake feature, on a Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, maybe one of Kendrick's greatest songs. You know what I'm saying? Swimming pools, him talking about him abusing liquor and shit, going through the struggles of, dealing with shit by drinking.
And you got
Um,
the remix with Jay-Z on the extended cut too.
and you got the remix with Jay Z, something like a Mad City, which is just a straight show of skill. You got a beat
Heater.
switch in there. Yeah,
Mad
and
City's Heater.
it's just like it's a great album, and this is where Kendrick really cements himself as like I'm here to stay, and I'm one of the greatest in the game because This is one of the greatest albums of all time. It's a 10 out of 10.
You got a couple favorite tracks? I know
I
you
mean,
named
the
some
whole
tracks, but
album.
like if you okay, yeah, that's
Sing About
okay,
Me, I'm Dying of Thirst is probably one of my favorite Kendrick songs ever. I
yeah.
mean, it's amazing, bro. It's like just art. You know what I'm saying? Like Art of Pure Pressure is great. Money Trees, of course, Poetic Justice, Swimming Pools. Um, you could go on.
Yeah.
This is a track list you can spin and there's no skips. So
Okay. Kendrick, like you said, he's just like showing off, it seems like, and really hitting his stride like lyrically. Like this is peak rapping Kendrick. Peak rapping period. Like
yeah.
this is a rap album. Production and beats I thought were also a lot of a step up from Section 8 and Overly Dedicated, which makes sense. You got Pharrell Williams, Dr. Dre, Hit Boy, and like legends, so
That's
obviously
the
the
thing.
production's gonna be better.
I think the production takes a step up almost every single album.
I agree.
You know what I'm
That's a
saying? So
common theme as we'll go
yeah,
on. We'll keep saying that. And
yeah.
then Kendrick's ability to like incorporate the deep introspective lyrics on hit records like Poetic Justice, Money Trees, all these songs, like this is where you're like, these are hit songs that he's talking about all this deep shit on.
Yeah.
Like he was talking about the deep shit on the last two projects, but they weren't on mainstream radio hits, and
Telling
they
a
are here.
story, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like reading a page of a chapter book
Yeah.
and it being on, the radio for people to listen to and shit like readily. You know what I'm saying? Like this was everywhere. You know what I'm saying? This was the beginning of Kendrick really in the mainstream blood. Like before this we had an ADHD, we had a whole lot, you know what I'm saying? But we didn't have something like a Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, a fucking Poetic Justice, a Money
Yeah.
Trees. You know what I'm saying? These were like instant classics and songs of the summer, like bangers. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you listen to rap. It don't matter if you listen to country, whatever you listen to pop, whatever. You heard these songs and you know these songs. You know what I'm
And
saying?
I feel
So
like it's common in the rap world when people try to do these like concept storytelling albums. Like you have to be special to pull that off and not make it a boring listen. And like
yeah,
this is not that. You don't mind
and
listening to the skits and the talking at the end of tracks. Like
this
I
is the
don't
thing.
mind it at all. It's like I would mind that if someone else just did it and they did it shitty, but it's perfect here.
Concept albums are often hard to pull off in terms of like accessibility and like replay value. Well, maybe not replay value, but accessibility. Like how easy it is for like a new listener to just hop in and listen. You know what I'm
To
saying?
Good Kid,
Like
Mad City, yeah, dude.
super. It is probably the most accessible, maybe hip hop album of all time. Really, if we
It
talk,
could
like,
be.
it really could be. There's a song for everybody on there, and at the same time, he's got it's one of the greatest concept albums ever. It's telling a story on every track, from track 1 to track 12. It's a perfectly lined up story. It's one of the greatest albums of all time. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, a couple other notes I got here. Definitely one of the best rap slash concept albums ever recorded. Not just concept, but rap albums. Like, it's up
Yeah.
there. And I didn't think, if I had to pick a gripe, I don't think the bonus tracks are as strong as the
No,
original 12
no.
tracks. Like, even with just the 12 original tracks, it's basically a 10 out of 10. But I do like the recipe and
Yeah,
then the remix with Jay-Z. Like, I still like the bonus tracks, but they're not as strong as the original track list. That's my
yeah.
only gripe
And
at
I don't
all.
think they're meant to be because I
Yeah.
think track 1 to track 12, the perfect boom, boom, end of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. People wanted more though.
and it is what it is. I'm glad that he added the few extra songs with the Jay Z feature and this, that, and the
The
other thing.
Dre
But
features, yeah.
listen to it how it's intended.
Then some of my favorite tracks, I mean, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, Backseat
Of
Freestyle,
course.
Money Trees, Poetic Justice, Good Kid, Mad City, and more is what I wrote. I was like, I can't write all
I
the
mean,
songs
yeah,
down, but they're
it's
all fucking hits.
the whole album.
Everyone.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got my score 10.0 out of 10.
yeah. It might be 11.
11 out of 10. Let's go with that. We'll make a
Yeah,
new
I mean,
tier.
yeah. But personally, it's my favorite. It's my favorite Kendrick album.
It's my favorite Kendrick album as well. No need for debate here. It's going in S tier.
Yep, of course.
Good Kid, Mad City is a perfect rap album. Maybe the best concept album ever made.
It deserved that number 7 spot for surely.
Yeah, could have been higher. Fuck Lauren Hill.
Well,
I'm just,
let's not say that, but
I'm just kidding. But man, Good Kid, Mad City is hot, man. Like, damn,
of course, man, of
it
course.
was so fun going back to it. And like, it's just
Oh
unbelievably
yeah,
good.
bro,
It's
for
10 out
real.
of 10. All right,
Well,
well, 11 out of 10. Well, that's the official score. So next we got To Pimp a Butterfly, by Kendrick Lamar, 2015. We had a little bit of a wait here after Good Kid, Mad City, 3 years. We are getting a Kendrick album every year up until this point. 3 year gap. So on this album, like as opposed to Good Kid, Mad City, I feel like the production is a lot more like instrumental, like literally with instruments. Like you get a lot more of that soulful jazz stuff you heard on Section 80, a little bit more than you got on Good Kid, Mad City. It's like really like beautiful jazz, funky production with like real instruments. Kendrick continues his legacy already at this point of like incorporating the deep, lyrical, introspective, social issue stuff on like songs that like bang and go hard. But in my opinion, these songs do not have as much mainstream or replay appeal as Good
It's the
Kid, Mad City.
accessibility.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't listen to Pimp a Butterfly as casually as you can listen to Good Kid, Mad City. You just can't.
Well, okay, someone like us might be able to. I probably can. At this point, this is like my second, third, maybe fourth, probably my second or third full listen through of T-Pad. And with every listen through, it gets more accessible and more enjoyable just as a casual listen.
But if you
Because
gave an average person both albums, I mean,
no, maybe not. And the thing about this is so heavily jazz inspired. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And it's got the trumpets. It's got everything jazz. You know what I'm saying? So you hot. This is like, and it's so funky. This is something you can kick back, you can smoke to. You know what I'm saying? And
you
at
can
the
vibe to
same
this.
time,
Yeah,
yeah, and at the same time, he's getting super fucking deep with it. You know what I'm saying? Talking about real life problems. Racism in America, all this shit. It's a letter to Tupac, the whole thing. After every song, he goes deeper into his letter, and at the end of the album, you can hear him write out his whole letter to him. He ends up having a conversation with Tupac at the end of the song. But essentially, it's a story of the caterpillar being trapped in the cocoon or the hood, trying to find its way out of the hood, but end up being trapped because it has to feed off of its surroundings to live. You know what I'm saying? So it's just conceptually one of the greatest albums of all time. Again, he went back to back, probably. I mean, I think undoubtedly the best two album, like back to back album run.
Eminem has the best three. Kendrick has the best two.
Yeah, Kanye has the best five. Yeah, for sure.
4 or 5. Yeah, Kanye has got the best 4 or 5. Yeah.
Five, yeah. But again,
Real quick,
ultra introspective.
oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
just before you start hopping to your notes, I just wanted to say one more thing here. Like, even though this doesn't have the same replay of value to me personally as Good Kid,
See,
Mad City does,
hold on
like,
though.
what?
I think I could argue the replay value is higher. I think you're
To
getting
me
like
personally,
excessive,
you could argue that.
but like yes, because like
To
I
me
feel like if
personally, it's not though.
okay,
Like to
but like
me, I'm not listening to
I
this as
understand.
much as I am to Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay, but like I think what you're arguing is accessibility though. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like a big part of replay value is going back and appreciating it more every time. You know what I'm saying? That's a big part of replay value to me. And for this album, this might be the best for that. You know what I'm saying? And this is after coming from a couple listens, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why I think it's better probably than GKMC. It's more like
If I
it's
hop in a car though and
more
I'm smoking and chilling, I'm not putting this on over Good Kid, Mad City. I'm just
I
not.
could though. I could put something
I
like
could,
a
but I
King
would never
Kunta
make
on or
that
a King Kunta
decision.
on or like sure. I like I said, I prefer GKMC. But I think as an overall piece of art and the thoughtfulness that went into the project and how deep he got with it, T-Pab is probably better. And it's got Kendrick, maybe his best song of all time on it with a How Much a Dollar Costs, talking to a homeless man that he met at the gas station, refusing to give him even $1. This homeless man ends up being Jesus Christ or God, and he loses his spot in heaven because he wouldn't give him $1. You know what I'm saying? Like the shit gets super fucking deep. And he raps fucking perfectly again throughout the whole album, and the production is unique, super heavily jazz inspired. Again, this is Kendrick still rounding, like while GKMC might have felt like the peak, he goes even further with the production and really making it his sound on T-Pad. And I mean, in terms of the impact and what it did, at the time and for the community of, the BLM movement and shit that was going on at the time, like it's one of the greatest albums of all time. And while he's got the introspective songs like These Walls or You Focusing on Problems, in the hood and shit, like he's got the summer anthems in a all right. and he's got the storytelling and how much a dollar costs. And I think it's the best produced, most thoughtful, and deep project from Kendrick. Um,
I mean,
and
yeah,
yeah,
it
it's
definitely is. I'm just saying it doesn't have the replay value to me that Good Kid, Mad City does. Like, it just
I
doesn't to
think
me.
I think it's got, for me it's probably got more because like every time you listen to it, it's deeper every time. You talk about his own depression, talk about how coming home helped him and shit. Like every time you listen to it, you can. It's like watching a movie more than once. You know what I'm
Yeah, but
saying?
I'm
You
not
watch
watch every time I turn on a movie. I don't want a deep introspective movie.
sure,
Sometimes I want just a
but
banger
okay,
action movie, which is
but
what Good
listen,
Kid, Mad City is to me.
okay, but listen. You watch one of the greatest movies of all time. That's super deep and introspective and everything else. You don't want to watch that movie ever again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
but not as often as an action movie.
okay, but I could argue you would want to watch it more. I would want to watch it more personally. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't watch fucking action movies, bro. I watch my favorite movies way more than I watch action movies. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen fucking my favorite movies 10 times over. I haven't seen the new action movie. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is like it doesn't matter. The accessibility, maybe not there like a GKMC. It's harder to really get into maybe.
I
But
still
once you
think
get
it's there. I just have Good Kid, Mad City slightly ahead of
But
it
once you
in
get
that
there, I
regard.
think like it's deeper, it's more thought out, and it's just a better piece of art probably from Kendrick. And GKMC is a perfect, near perfect piece of art. So like that's saying a lot. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Also,
10
like,
out of 10, 12 out of 10.
it's like if you listen to this album front to back, it's like clearly obvious like why Kendrick became an important voice and not just rap or
Yeah,
just in music in general, in the culture in general after this came out. Like it's so obvious like this is a 10 out of 10. I technically have it at a 9.5, but like it's a 10.
it's
It's like
it's
a
a 10.
9.75 to me,
It's a
but
it's a 10, bro. I mean, like it's just I don't know. It's so I mean, it was so impactful for the time, first of all. And then just like what he's doing, like in terms of like talking to his mom, I'm something like a mama, talking to about his experiences in life and shit like that. And fucking like this shit is just I don't know, it's different. I thought it was just really it's crazy. It's crazy to listen to, honestly, front to back.
it that's the one my one issue with it is like specifically in the Good Kid, Mad City thing. Like you can just pick up Good Kid, Mad City, pick a random song, and you're good. But on this, you kind of have to take it in as a whole album.
That's one thing too. Like this might be like the sequel almost to GKMC. Like in terms of accessibility, if you pick up an album, you're gonna want to. If you pick up a movie, you're gonna watch the first movie first. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna watch uh, Lord of the Rings 2 before Lord of the Rings 1, or you know what I'm saying, vice versa, whatever. So I feel like listening to GKMC first, then getting this obviously lets you appreciate it more and really lets you see Kendrick round into who he is. 10 out of
All right.
10.
Well, let's get the tier list up here just for the sake of doing it. This is in S tier.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, yeah,
mean,
yeah.
there's not much debate. These are both S tier albums. It's probably the best 2 album run of all time. And it may never be
Probably.
topped. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard to top
It's
that.
gonna be tough. Yeah,
How do you
for
top
sure.
Good Kid, Mad City to Pimp a Butterfly? Like
I don't know
how?
if you can.
Is it possible to even top that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, what? Ready to Die, Life After Death? You could argue it, but
I don't know if you
I don't
could.
know. I
Like
mean, you definitely
maybe.
could, but
And
I
like
don't know.
Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers, maybe, but I don't know,
Nah,
man.
nah.
These two are crazy together. Like
Yeah, no.
that these are back to back albums is insanity.
Yeah. I mean, I could go on for days. I could go on for days. You know what I'm saying? The conversations with Tupac, the whole theory about the caterpillar, like the whole story behind it. It's great.
Well, this leads us perfectly into our fifth Kendrick Lamar project. Not like a full studio album. Do you know the story of how Untitled Unmastered came to be?
No.
I'm glad you don't because I want to tell you. So, Kendrick Lamar, right? He basically like had some song play or like demoed it, like some DJ played an unreleased song off TPAB, okay? LeBron James hears this unreleased To Pimp a Butterfly song. He puts out a tweet or like an Instagram post. He's like, Kendrick, we need these. Give us more unreleased songs off TPAB. 7 days later, Untitled Unmastered comes to streaming services with 8 songs that are throwaways from To Pimp a Butterfly. LeBron James made this happen.
That's kind of crazy. 8
That's the
days?
story.
I didn't know it was 8 days.
7 days after
Really?
LeBron
Wow.
said that, this dropped.
It's kind of crazy.
So, Untitled Unmastered, 2016, a year after T-Pab. This is 8 songs which are considered like throwaways or whatever you want to call it, unused tracks from the To Pimp a Butterfly era. These were recorded at the same time T-Pab was recorded. They're not even named, they're literally untitled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're
Yep.
not as cohesive of a project. They're not supposed to be. They're just kind of some throwaway, fun little tracks for the fans. But, like, the fact that this is better than, like, so many people's real albums is, like,
Yeah.
crazy. Because this is
A lot
not
better.
bad. This is not bad by any
Dude, it's
means.
great. I mean, in terms of a rap album, it's extremely versatile. You know what I mean? You listen to every song and it's a different sound every time. And personally, it might have my favorite Kendrick song ever on it with Untitled 2. I love his vocal performance on it. Kendrick goes crazy. More jazz inspiration throughout the whole thing. You can kind of hear the transition from T-Peb to Damn here, which is why I was kind of surprised that it was only 7 days later, but it kind of makes sense because T-Peb was probably, pre-recorded and
It
shit.
didn't drop 7 days after T-Pab. It dropped 7 days after LeBron asked for it.
Okay.
It dropped a whole year after T-Pab.
Okay,
But, like,
got you.
LeBron heard a track.
That's why
like,
I was
some DJ
yeah,
played it. And then
yeah.
7 days after LeBron reached out, we had the 8 tracks.
Yeah, because on
Apple
track
stuff.
1, he's kind of spitting more aggressively like he does on Damn. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a
Yeah.
transition into Damn almost. So I thought it was great. Obviously not as conceptually strong as like a T-Pab or a GKMC. There's only 8 songs on it, so it's not that crazy. Got some aggressive rapping, like I said, on 1. Some more chill vocal shit on 2. More upbeat shit on 3. Got SZA vocals on there. Got the funky shit on there. Like I said, it's super versatile. 8 out of 10.
The fact that these songs didn't make T-Pab is just like a testament to how great Kendrick is.
Yeah.
And like how
Like I said, it might have
seriously
my-
he takes his craft and how like anal he is about his albums and detail
Yeah.
oriented. Like these didn't make an album. These are good tracks. Like they are not bad. I have this at 7.5 out of 10. My favorites are 2, 7, and 8. I would probably take 2 and 7 if I had to pick a top 2. But like none of them are bad. They're like fun. It's cool to see some like behind the scenes of the one of the best albums ever made. Like this was fun to listen to.
Yeah, it was great. It's great.
What'd
Like
you
I
give
said,
it? 8.
I give it an 8, and I think it has maybe my favorite Kendrick song on it with 2. So
2
shout
is
out.
2 is it. That's the one.
2 is crazy, right?
Yeah, that's
so good.
That is the one. So let's get this tier list up here and talk about where this belongs. Untitled, Unmastered, 2016. Shout out LeBron James. Come on the show. Where does this go?
I gave it an 8, so it would have to be B. I mean, if we're sticking to that standard.
I agree that it's there. Yeah, I think
Okay.
that makes sense.
All right.
Is it? Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm at basically 7.5 and 8. I was surprised at how good like this actually was though for being throwaway
great.
tracks.
This is great. And I love the shorter shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't really want to sit down for an hour and 40 minutes to listen to an album. Give me 30-minute albums, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Show a skill, show a versatility, show me what you got. It doesn't have to be super in-depth, especially when you just put together 2 of the greatest concept albums of all time. Loved it.
Yeah, it was great. Well, that brings us to the 6th Kendrick Lamar project, 2017. Damn. This is Kendrick Lamar's most commercially successful album, streaming wise, money wise. Like
I would
this
argue
album-
this is the most Kendrick album. You
Like
know what I mean?
These songs on this album have billions and billions of streams. These songs are everywhere. You still hear them on the radio today. This album has not went anywhere 7 years later. Like, Damn is... You could argue this is another masterpiece. Like, this is so good. I mean, you want to go first? I can go first. Doesn't matter.
It don't matter. It don't matter. Go ahead. Go for it.
All right, so production on this is kind of a switch up from the previous. You move a little bit away from the soulful jazz stuff and more into like a more modern trap production.
More into like a unique Kendrick sound is kind of how I took it.
But it's definitely like more modern and trap based than the previous soulful funk. And it's got like a dark vibe, which I like. Like it's kind of like a darker vibe or side of Kendrick that you get in this. Like I like the production on this a lot. It's not my favorite. Like I would probably put Good Kid, M.A.A.d City above this production wise, but it's really strong and I like Kendrick on the modern trap stuff. But the thing is, like, Kendrick keeps all the lyrical storytelling, social commentary, all the shit that he does, but like even more than Good Kid, M.A.A.d City, like these are songs that you can straight up bump in your car. Like these are hits, like club bangers. But he's
Yeah.
still keeping all the lyrical shit that he's always done, which is
The
like
deep, thoughtful shit.
crazy. And some of my favorite Kendrick songs of all time are on Damn. Like you have DNA, Feel, Humble, Love, Duckworth. Like Duckworth, Love, those might be my two favorite Kendrick songs ever, and they're on Damn. Like it's
Yeah.
maybe not as strong as Good Kid, Mad City or To Pimp a Butterfly as an
Triple X,
album.
Loyalty. You know what I'm saying? There's some
This
great songs on there.
this album is so good.
Element.
I have it at a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I got it at a 9.7.
Damn.
Again, Kendrick coming, bro. Listen, coming with the concepts that Kendrick comes with is so insane. This is the ultra introspective album. He's taken advantage of song titles, giving you a feeling for every song title, just bolded with a period at the end, going from love, loyalty, pride, lust, fear to his name Duckworth at the end,
So
leading it
good.
all off. But throughout the album, he uses not only obviously lyrics because he's a rapper, but also the titles of the songs to portray his inner feelings. You know what I'm saying? This is not so much a album about the streets around him or the world around him. This is more so an album about himself. And
Yeah.
like I said at the beginning of the conversation, I feel like this is the most Kendrick album because this feels like the most like it feels the most Kendrick to me when I listen to it. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah,
it's got
like you said, the other albums are more focused on like social issues in the world around him, and this is focused on him personally.
it's ultra introspective. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Every song is a feeling that he has. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And
Not like
everybody has.
T-Pab where it's about culture. Like this is about
Sure.
him specifically.
Exactly. And like you said, he does it in, again, a super accessible way. This was
His
probably,
most accessible way.
yeah, this is the height of his career and a humble, his most streamed song ever. You got DNA, obviously took over the world for a year, maybe two. A Loyalty, iconic Rihanna feature. A Triple X, one of my favorite songs on there. And then you
Love.
got a super crazy storytelling song like a Duckworth, where he tells a story about his dad working at KFC, Top Dog coming in to rob it, ended up
Yeah,
making friends with his dad. And this is how Kendrick Lamar comes to be. You know what I'm saying? And ends it off with that. And it's like
I think it's
he
the
does
best
it
final track on an
every
album ever.
he does it every time, bro. He doesn't miss, bro. It's a 9.7. It's the most unique Kendrick album to me. Like it's the most Kendrick sounding album. I said that already a few times. Um Again, braggadocious to the thoughtful, deep, introspective to the more soulful, some of that like R&B kind of like it's got everything. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, like conceptually, it's not as strong as Good Kid, Mad City, or T-Pab or whatever. Like we know this, but overall, as an album, I got this at S tier, bro.
yeah, and he's got like some of the most like he's got some of his more unique vocal performances on here. So yeah, it's S tier.
Bam. Three in a row? No. Untitled Unmastered is in between.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
If he didn't,
those are throwaways though.
if he
It
didn't
barely
have
counts.
Untitled there, he would rival Eminem for sure for the three album.
I think you could argue that he rivals Eminem and is a close number two because Untitled Unmastered is throwaways from one of the albums. Like
Yeah, but
people
it still
asked for them, he
counts.
wasn't gonna put them out.
I know, but it still counts though.
When LeBron asks, you deliver.
But
If
yeah, if you're not
LeBron wants
counting that,
tracks, you give him tracks, man.
you could argue it's better than Eminem's 3 run, which I think is the greatest of all time. So
Yeah, they're one and
that's
two when it
saying
comes to
something.
3 album runs.
That's saying something, right? So come on now.
All right,
Nine
and that
nine
bring
point seven out of 10. I said, yeah, S tier, ultra introspective. Just to recap, that's it.
well, there you go. We've done Overly Dedicated, Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, Untitled Unmastered, Damn, and that brings us to the most recent Kendrick Lamar project, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, 2022. It's 2024 right now. We're supposed to maybe get a Kendrick album this year, but this is the most recent one. What do you think of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers? Is this your first time listening to it from front to back?
Yeah, yeah, it was.
It was mine as well. I've listened to tracks from it, but I don't think when it came out, I just sat down and listened 1 to 20 or however
No,
many are on.
no, I didn't. Like we said before, that we're new to this music shape real deep, like that. So cut us some slack. This is my first time listening front to back. Um, it's so heavy of an album, bro.
Yeah,
It's just like when you listen to it, you feel like the world is on your shoulders type shit. And it's great. You know what I'm saying? There is some upbeat songs on there, like an N95. There is a Die Hard. You know what I'm saying? There's some good vibey songs on there. But for the most part, it's more introspective shit. You know what I'm saying? More shit about his family issues, shit that's going on with his wife, and, shit that is uh, complicating, his life. So, again, more introspective. He talks about the loss of his brother and his mom. Um, then he goes into some upbeat shit with an N95. Worldwide Sappers asking God to speak through him. You know what I'm saying? So like
What do you think of the first track, United in Grief? Is that on your
it's
favorites
great.
list?
Yeah, it's probably up there
Me too.
for
I
sure.
was just curious because that shit goes hard, dude.
Yeah, I
Hard.
mean, I think Die Hard for sure is up there. N95 is up there.
You like
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill? Yeah.
Yeah, Silent Hill is probably my favorite on the album.
I just like that
Great.
song a lot.
You got a great Kodak feature. He kills it. And in this album, Kodak has some interludes in there where he's kind of just talking,
Yeah.
giving his perspective on some shit.
He's
Some
almost like a
really,
theme of the album.
yeah, yep, some very soulful samples and vocals on there. He talks about how he can't please everybody and love changes and something like a crown. Like I said, you got the radio smackers and the Silent Hill and N95. I like the Baby Keem Savior interlude. I thought was great. The song I thought was great. And
Mm-hmm.
then you get into like super personal family shit that is super important in an anti-diaries, talking about the gay and trans members in his family, standing up for them in church, and his battles with that personally as well. And the ending of it, you know what I'm saying? He does this he somehow comes to a concise ending to every album, I feel like. You got the heart with this one, of course, but I like Mirror personally. It's him saying that I choose me, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pick me, and you could argue in his relation, or you could interpret in his relationship and whatever he's going through, whatever. He's saying essentially that I'm gonna focus on me, and I put my faith in God and shit like that. So I fuck with it. I thought it's another great album, but it's just such a heavy listen and it's really long. It's about an hour and a half.
Well, I'll give you mine before you give your score. How's that? I'll give you some
Yeah.
of my notes here.
Yeah, I wasn't about to.
So, of all the Kendrick
Oh,
albums,
1 second. I really, really liked his vocal performance in Rich Spirit. I just
yeah,
wanted to say that. That shit was great. Oh,
I don't,
and the concept of I know of We Cry. I just missed a couple here. The concept of We Cry Together, of him and his girl arguing back and forth on a track,
yeah.
was great. Was great. So
So, out of the 7 Kendrick projects that we listened to and reviewed, this album actually has my favorite mix. You get a real mix of like the soulful, funky jazz shit and the like modern trap, dark shit. Like I think this album has the best mix of it. Like
yeah, maybe yeah.
On Damn you get all the dark trappy shit, and then on Good Kid, M.A.A.d City and T-Pad you get all the soul funk stuff. But like this is like has a good mix of the two. So like the production on this album is just like super fun. It's really different. All the tracks sound different. Like I didn't get bored of this, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's one of the main criticisms with this album. Like in culture is that it's
You
slower,
see some
boring. But
you see some Baby Keem production influence throughout it, you know what I'm saying, which is good. I
yeah,
think Baby Keem has a good ear for music, shit like that. Yeah.
this is the most vulnerable we've seen Kendrick, like talking about like his personal life. Like we saw some of it on Damn, but like you mentioned, like this album is deep. There's complicated topics. Like he's really getting vulnerable on here. And I know, like I said, a lot of people think this is like a boring album or whatever, and there are some slower tracks on here, but the rapping performances and the vocal performances by Kendrick like hold up to Good Kid, M.A.A.d City and T-Pap on this album.
Every time. Every
Like
time.
they're up to his standard. They are. And
And
like this album is definitely overhated because there's so many good songs on here, and then you have the hits like N95 and Silent Hill. Like it's not his best album. It's not Good Kid, Mad City, but like this is not bad. I have this as an 8.5 out of 10. United in Grief might be my favorite song. Like that's so hard. N95, Count Me Out, Silent Hill, Mr. Morale, so good. Like
yep,
I got
yep.
this at 8.5, and I could go up. Like I
Yeah.
love this album.
I got it at 8.3. I like it at 8.3. I just think it suffered from being a little bit too long, but like you said, I really did like a lot of the sound on there. Um, and yeah, he gets really introspective and thoughtful with it. Again, he never misses too on something like Worldwide Steppers. Again, talking about everybody's some killers. We all hateful, fake Photoshop in our lives, shit like that. And he mixes the deep, thoughtful shit with the upbeat, fucking, uh, the
Yeah,
shit with the
Silent
Silent
Hill at
Hill and
95.
95 and a Die Hard, so
So
it's
good.
great.
And United in
Yeah,
Grief blew me away. That was the song I was most impressed with. I love
United
that
in
track.
Grief. Yeah,
Love that track. So, on the tier list, I personally think this belongs in a specific place, especially based on what we have now. Where do you think this goes? Because I would put this at A.
yeah. I would put it at A, but I still think I would put Section 80A
Do you think?
at this point. Yeah, I would. Personally, I would. That's how I would put it.
Because I would do it the other way. I would do that. But I'm not opposed to this. But I just like Overly Dedicated more than Section 80 for some reason. I don't know.
I got Overly Dedicated and Untitled on about the same level, but I think I would take Untitled over Overly Dedicated. I just think
I would
it's
too.
it's Kendrick in his more, you know,
Wow,
mature,
those are
rounded
so close.
age. You got some like my favorite Kendrick song on Untitled, so I just feel like it's a bit better. That's all.
Well, there you go. All
Yeah.
7 Kendrick albums, his full discography, even the throwaways and the Overly Dedicated. That's the tier list. S tier, we got Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, and Damn. A
Yep.
tier, we got Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, Section 80, and B tier, we have Untitled, Unmastered, Overly Dedicated, nothing below an 8.0, basically. 80 is
Nope.
his worst album, and 80 out of 100.
Yeah, dude. It's insane. It's insane. And like I said, you could argue he's got the best 3 album run of all time. If you take Untitled out of there, shit, even with it in there, maybe for some people, but it's
So good.
crazy. Even without a section or without a Untitled in there, you could argue best 5 album run because you got a Section 80, GKMC, T-Pab, Damn, Mr. Morale, but
Mr.
you
Morale
could
is overhated for sure.
yeah, you could either throw Overly Dedicated or Miss Morale there, whatever you want to take, but of course, I mean, I would take Mr. Morale, but
Well,
yeah.
there you have it. That's our Kendrick Lamar discography tier list. Let us know what you think. What albums would you put higher, lower? What did we get wrong? What did we get right? And let us know which artist you want us to listen through their whole discography and do a tier list review of all the albums next. We have some ideas in mind, but if you want to see a specific artist, let us know. We will do it.
Yeah, and let us know how we did on that because I don't know.
It was
I don't know
fun to
how we
listen
did.
to all these though. Like within a week, I've
Yeah,
listened to all these in 4 days. So like it was so
yeah,
fun to
nah,
just listen front to back to his whole discography.
it was great, dude. I mean, seeing this evolution is crazy. In the production, especially,
Mr.
like
Morale production is prime.
he's always been a great rapper, right? But like in the production, in the song concepts, and the thoughtfulness throughout his career, it's just the evolution is crazy.
Well, there you have it. That's this week's episode of the Off the Top podcast. Make sure you subscribe. If you made it this far, you might as well. It's free, and we love you, and it means a lot. Kendrick Lamar tier list, done. We've done the discography. We got to hop into the next one. So,
Yes, sir.
subscribe. We'll be back next week with albums to review and music to talk about. We love you. Peace out. That's all I got.
Doses.
Deuces.
It's Off the Top podcast, got you laughing like you hit the gas pack. Show is crazy like you watching Mad Max. Every other podcast is mad whack.